Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. Today we're going to take the mystery out of the Ruger Air Magnum. This gun's put out by Umarex. Before we get started though, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button down there in the corner if you haven't already. Appreciate any type of feedback you give. Thumbs up are always great. And don't forget about the little bell. If you want to hit that little bell right there, you'll be notified of new episodes that are released. So you'll be the first to be able to view them. Anyway, so let's go back to our Ruger Magnum. I'm going to do something a little different today because you have to understand I have quite a large collection of air guns. So some of these guns I've already tuned, so I can't go backwards and show you what the stock performance is. But I can talk about the stock performance and I can talk to you about the potential. Okay, this Ruger Air Magnum, this is a clone of the Diana 350. Seriously, it takes the same diameter spring. Triggers are very similar. These are kind of like a T05 trigger in the Dianas. So anyway, as a challenge, I picked this rifle up, and I picked it up really cheap. I picked it up for about $120 to the door, and I wanted to see if I could turn this into a really good shooter. And I'll let you guys be the judge. But let's talk about the gun stock. This is 22 caliber. This is a spring piston air rifle, as opposed to a gas piston. This is a spring piston, so it uses a piston or a spring to push the piston inside the chamber. Okay. Overall, this has a 19.5-inch barrel. It's 48.5 inches overall in total length. Gun weighs about 9.5 pounds. With the scope, you're looking, more like closer to 10 pounds. The stock trigger in here, it's about a 3.5 pound trigger. It's actually a pretty nice trigger right out of the box. What you see here, it does not come with the muzzle brake on the front here. What it does do, it actually does come with open sights, and it comes with the True Glow type open sights. If you can hear, let me try to get this to where you guys can see these. This would be the rear sight is green, and the front sight is red. And this would fit on this rifle just like in the front here, just like if you were to see this. This goes on here. I put a custom muzzle brake on the front of this, just because I knew I wouldn't be shooting with open sights, and I kind of like the slick look of it. The gun also does not come with this BSA scope. This is a BSA side focus scope. I don't even know if they're around anymore, but it's I think this one's a 3x12, but it has the side focus on it. It's actually a pretty nice scope. It actually comes with this little 4-32. So it's a 4x32 scope, so with no adjustment. Ironically though, it's somewhat of a clear sight picture. You could actually get away with shooting the gun with this for a little bit. It wouldn't be bad, but you definitely want to upgrade. What else the rifle comes with nice is it comes with a dovetail, but then it has this Picatinny rail adapter on here. It's actually a good looking little adapter. So then you can use your Picatinny type scope rings, because I put a 30mm scope on that, little heavier duty scope. And it's working out quite well. This is synthetic stock. It does have a nice little rubber butt plate on it here, as you can see that. I did add my Picatinny rails and my bipods, and those are available on my website, www.airgundetectives.com, if you're interested in those. I've sold quite a few of these, and it seems like everybody that has bought them have really liked them. In fact, there's quite a few people have come back and bought a second set for their other guns, which is kind of nice. So anyway, they're claiming this will get about 1,200 feet per second with an alloy pellet and 1,000 feet per second with a lead pellet. And I would imagine that's going to be a really light alloy pellet and a really, really light lead pellet. But we're going to take it out and we're going to go through the whole performance. Anyway, these guns, like I said, I paid 120 bucks for it. I've seen them up to 200, so anywhere between 120 and $200 you can pick one of these up for. The stock cocking effort on these is around 40 pounds, just so you know. But I completely tuned this gun myself, and I also changed the spring out in. I went to a Vortek. At the time, it was called a PG2 piston kit, and I put a different spring in it. But honestly, out of the box, power-wise, I didn't notice much difference between the actual spring that it comes with and then the kit. But what I did notice significantly is how smooth this gun is. And I mean, I totally tuned this gun, and we'll talk about it. But I honed it. I went through everything on it, and did it all by myself, and even did some trigger work on here. And I'll show you how it performs. But this is just the potential. So I want to see if I could get a very inexpensive rifle and turn it into a shooter. So let's go ahead and see how well it performs. Let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's test our Ruger Magnum over the Crony. We'll just do 5 shots, and we'll see how well it performs. We're going to go ahead and just use, this thing cocks easy for a Magnum rifle. Anyway, we're just going to use the Meisterkugels, the 14.0 grain. They seem to be pretty good in this gun, so let's see how they clock here. All right, shot number 1. 904. Shot number 2. 899. Shot number 3. 893. Shot number 4. 890. And one more shot. $898. Well, that was some pretty consistent feet per second for the most part, and you gotta like the foot-pounds of energy. All right, let's test our Ruger Air Magnum with a little heavier pellet now, the JSB 18.13s. Let's go ahead and shoot 5 shots over the Crony and see how well these perform. At least you'll get an idea of what type of foot-pounds of energy you will get using these pellets. Okay, shot number 1. 781. Shot number 2. 767. Wow, that dropped off. Shot number 3. 779. Shot number 4. 778. $775. Let's do one more. Because I think that one pellet was anomaly. Sometimes a skirt's bent. It's not going to get the pressure behind it. It's not going to travel as fast. So let's do one more, see where we're at. Yeah, 781. Okay, that's a good average. I'm going to throw out that 767 and we'll average these. So let's move on to the next segment. Okay, now we're going to try a little bit of accuracy test with our Ruger Air Magnum. You know, I couldn't pick a worse day. The wind is just gusting here. I can't believe how windy it is. Kind of unusual, but storm's coming. We haven't had a lot of clear days, so I'm trying to get these reviews in while I have time. Normally this thing really likes the RSW Meisterkugelens, but today with the wind they're moving all over. So we're going to have to go to the 18.13 JSBs. And let's just see how well we can group. I'm not promising anything. I'm just going to take 5 shots. I'll aim dead center at the target, and let's just see where they group. All right. But we definitely need the heavier pellets today. All right, number 2. That wind does not help there. Okay, number 4. And Fuck. Wow. We had 4 shots go through that top hole. Unbelievable. Yeah, the accuracy on this thing, sometimes it absolutely amazes me, especially for the price point. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Let's try a little trigger test on our Ruger Air Magnum. Now keep in mind, these triggers are pretty easy to modify. And our good friend Mike Mellick, he can even set one up for you if you like, over at Flying Dragons. All right, let's see how well we do here. £2, 1 ounce. Not too shabby. 2 pounds, 1 ounce. Yeah, and I did add a screw to this one, lighten it up a little bit, which is a pretty easy process, but not bad. So let's move on to the next segment. Now we're going to test our Ruger Air Magnum at 40 yards and extremely high wind. Yes, I got a cross breeze coming up there, probably 20 miles an hour. Go ahead and take a look at the targets we're shooting at, right up there. There you go. As you can see, I've got small little eggs there, little pig, that little red pipe. So let's see how well we do. We're going to shoot the 18.13s. They seem to do better in the heavy wind like this, so we'll do our best and let's just see what happens. I tell you, our bipods do make a big difference though, as far as holding this thing steady from this type of distance. So let's see. Start with that little can on the left. Jeez, is it windy though. My God, I'm gonna get blown away here. I'm just amazed I can hit anything at this distance. All right. Get that shotgun shell out of there. Well, okay. Red pipe. Little red egg. Whoa, this thing hits hard. And last but not least, let's get to that little red pig. I'm telling you, the cross breeze on this, I'm having to compensate a little bit. Whoa. That's your Ruger Air Magnum, and that's truly an Air Magnum. All right, let's move on to the last segment here. All right, let's wrap this review up with our conclusion here on our Ruger Air Magnum. Overall, this is not a bad gun out of the box if you think about it. This is as we talked about before, it's a Diana clone. And so the trigger in this gun is a T05 clone as well. So, and they've matched it up pretty close. I mean, there's going to be no substitution for the original German made, but this one is really close, especially when it gets tuned up. Also, another gun that's identical to this Ruger also is the Cisco, the XS28. Difference with that one is you get a wood stock with it. And our friend Mike Mellick sells those over there at the Flying Dragon Air Guns too, and he can tune them up as well. And he also provides one at 25 caliber. So, and he'll go and you can actually order the gun and get it all tuned up. But let's talk about this one and the tune job I did. But before that, let's talk about the negatives. The only negatives I would have is the lousy little scope this thing comes with, and the fact there is no suppressor on the gun, but it's really not that loud. It's totally backyard friendly, and I would rate it as like a medium sound gun. So you could totally shoot it in your backyard. It wouldn't be any issues whatsoever. So that would be the negatives. But for the price point of this gun, especially what I paid for it, even right out of the box, if I didn't tune it, you're getting a 3-pound trigger. You're getting less than, I would say this is under a 40-pound cocking effort. You're getting a Magnum power. So you're getting that, you know, like I said, the stock feet per second was really close to even after I tuned it. So you're still getting that 900 plus feet per second with a 14 grain pellet. So you're still getting your 24, 25 foot-pounds of energy. This is right out of the box. Doesn't have a bad recoil whatsoever. So, and then you're getting pretty good open sights. So out of the box, you're getting a pretty good little package here for anywhere between 120 and 200 bucks. So, out of the box, I'm going to tell you right now, I would give this thing 4.25 stars. Okay, now let's talk about what I did to the gun. Okay, I took a good gun and I turned it into a great gun for about 100 bucks if you're not counting the scope here, but just if you're just talking about the performance. So I added that PG2 kit. Okay, and what's significantly different about that is look at the stock spring and then the PG2 kit. As you see, the PG2 kit, it has a plastic sleeve that actually goes over the spring, and they also include a top hat. That's that little rubber piece that's at the end of the spring, and it just quiets this down and smooths this gun out like you can't even believe. And also, when I tuned it, I put a new seal at the end of the piston there, a new piston seal. So what that does is, if you got a good seal and you got a good spring, you start getting consistency. And when you get consistency in every cock, your deviation, standard deviation, goes down and keeps it really close. So in other words, each time you cock it and shoot it, your feet per second are really close. And when that happens, that's when you get the really good accuracy, is keeping that really close with that, as far as the standard deviation. So it completely eliminated the twang on this gun. And the cocking effort, mid 30s, 36, 37 pounds. There's nothing to it. And then as a result, you saw the power we're getting out of this thing. We're getting 25 foot-pounds of energy out of this. So it's a true Magnum break barrel, but it doesn't have that crazy heavy cocking effort. This is, like I said, mid 30s. There's nothing to cock in this gun. So keep that in mind. Also, this liked the 3 best pellets that it liked a lot were the it liked the Benjamin Destroyers. I forgot to mention that, and they're pretty inexpensive pellets. It also liked the Meisterkugelns, and then as you saw how well it did with our 18 grain JSBs. With our 18 grain JSBs, we were still getting close to that. We're out of the muzzle, we're getting that 24 foot-pounds of energy, but I'll bet you anything at 20 yards, you're going to get more foot-pounds of energy out of the JSBs than you will these other pellets. But and we were averaging what, around 800, close to 800 feet per second, high 7s, close to 800 feet per second with the heavy pellets. So this is truly a Magnum rifle. And like I said, I've got, not counting the scope, I got about 220 bucks into this whole thing, and it's a heck of a rifle. And if you think about what the cost of a true Diana 350 is, I mean, no, there's no replacement for it. Let me get that straight, okay? But you certainly can tune this gun and get it to be quite the performer. You can get it close to that, and for probably close to half the price. So with all that done to this gun, I would have to give it 5 stars now, without a doubt. And you saw the accuracy. The accuracy is unbelievable. It really is. I mean, when we were shooting, on camera, I showed you, I put 4 pellets through the same hole. The one that dropped down a little bit, that could have been me, I'm not quite sure. When I was shooting, at the time I was shooting, it was kind of windy, so who knows. Anyway, so overall, yeah, definitely 5 stars with the tune. But I just want to show you guys what the potential you can get out of some of these guns, because some people, they've asked, what's the big deal with the tune? Tune makes a big difference. It smooths out the gun, improves the accuracy, and the consistency with your standard deviation, which is the key to accuracy. So anyway, with that, don't forget, if you guys need bipods, go to my website, www.airgundetectives.com. And again, I'm going to remind you, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button down there. We'd love your feedback. Thumbs up is always good. I know we're going through a lot of stressful times in this country. I hope you and your family are staying really healthy and safe, and hopefully we'll get through this fast and we'll get back to work. But anyway, I appreciate you tuning in to Airgun Detectives. Don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the air guns. So until next time.